Well, the cattle business is big business here in Louisiana. Just last year, the cattle industry brought in more than $345 million to the state's economy. However, cattle producers could make more if they retained ownership of their cattle all the way to slaughter. This week in Louisiana Agriculture's Avery Davidson begins a two-part series on the LSU AgCenter's Calf to Carcass Tour.
To you, that likely looks just like a pen full of cattle.
I mean, look at them calves, man, they are full.
But for West Feliciana Parish cattleman John Patrick, it's a sight he does not get to see in Louisiana.
And our 86 calves actually got sorted into a light-heavy pen so they could feed them a little different.
That's why Patrick put his cattle into the LSU AgCenter's Calf to Carcass program and sent them here to the Hitch Enterprises feedlot in Guymon, Oklahoma, a last stop for more than 33,000 head of cattle before they're sold for beef production.
This pen averaged 1,218 finished weight.
Tom Ardoin did the same. That's because in Louisiana, normally cattlemen will raise their calves until they weigh about 600 pounds and then sell them to someone else who then raises the cattle to slaughter weight and in turn makes more money. That's why Louisiana is called a cow-calf state. However, that also means most Louisiana cattle producers never know the quality of beef coming from their cattle. In 1992, Dr. Tim Page with the LSU AgCenter started the Calf to Carcass program so these men could keep their cattle all the way to slaughter.
They get performance data back on their calves, carcass data back on their calves. It's strictly an educational program. There are profits involved sometimes, which is a plus, but this is strictly where they can learn more about their cattle. They get information about the health status of their cattle. They can then go back and become better managers of their cattle, make more informed decisions, and hopefully increase their profits.
If you cull out the bottom quarter of this, you talk about boost up your averages like crazy.
Right.
Ardoin says it's made a difference with his operation. He says he made a net profit of $580 per calf he sold at about 600 pounds, but made $750 per head on the cattle he brought up to slaughter weight.
It's better than money in the bank, and I realize it's not for everybody yet, but it's still a profit to be made. It's just a little delay in the money flow. And if you can live with that, then I think you're still producing the right kind of cattle.
We're assuming that we're at least going to get 95. Last week they sold at 97.50.
Patrick says after 5 years in the Calf to Carcass program, he's made changes to his operation because of what he's seen here.
We've actually done a earlier calving season, get the calves heavier before we send them here. We like for all our calves to be 6-weight calves before we send them to hitch. The bigger they are, the stronger they are, the less problems you have at the feed yard once you get here.
The reason all of these cattle producers are here is because they're on the annual Calf to Carcass tour. This year, the tour included stops at the Wagoner Ranch in Vernon, Texas, the largest single fenced-in ranch in all of Texas, covering more than 550,000 acres and home to more than 10,000 head of cattle. The group also toured the Tyson Beef Processing Plant in Amarillo, Texas, which has more than 3,600 employees.
And seeing that part of the industry which we never get to see, where they're bringing in 6,200 calves a day, and those calves are going completely through that facility in one day, being processed, broken down into meat products, and shipped out the next day out the other end of the facility.
Food safety was top priority. It's a very clean facility.
I mean, we went through like 7 steps to ensure the safety of their product. So, those people really are aware that they want to keep the food chain safe, for the American consumer.
And that's the goal of all these cattle producers, and one of the reasons why they make this trip every year.
We realized that we didn't get in it to make the money, but we did realize the profit from those few calves in the Calf to Carcass program, and it just encouraged us even more then to put together a full pen and see what the dollar signs will do for us.
I think without LSU and Tim Page and the Calf to Carcass program, we would have no idea what happens to calves past the stockyard or the order buyer.
And that keeps them coming back to learn more. In Guymon, Oklahoma, I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
To learn more about the LSU AgCenter's Calf to Carcass program, you can visit our website, twilatv.org. Next week, Avery will show us why it's so important for younger cattle producers to get involved in this operation.